Hello, everybody. It's Leela.
And Bo.
And welcome back to our Queendom Puzzle Podcast. Today we are going to talk about episode 3.
What's this
Fighting,
called?
Fighting.
Do they give the episodes titles? I can't remember if they give them titles.
They do, but I don't know what it is.
I remember what it was.
What?
Sometimes I'm alone. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm alone. Hello.
That has nothing to do with Queendom Puzzle.
Google that. YouTube that.
What's it called?
Sometimes I'm alone. I don't know.
What's the video title?
Just put cat singing Sometimes I'm Alone. You'll find it. It's so cute. It'll make you so sad, though, like this episode. Wait, was this a sad episode? No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't sad at all.
Okay, anyway, what happened in it, though?
A lot of stuff. So before
a lot of BS.
Nuh-uh.
No, I know.
Before we begin, if you are interested in Queendom Puzzle and you'd like to hear our recaps, please subscribe. We're here every Saturday. And subscribing would really help the channel.
There are a few points, little things we got to address real quick. First, Are You Next? We're not sure if we're going to cover it or not. We have to see how they're going to... We didn't watch the episode live. They'll put it up somehow. We'll probably watch the first episode and see what we think. But we're kind of busy with real life stuff right now, so we don't have as much time to do probably 2 podcasts. But we'll see.
It's under consideration. Doing podcasts for Are You Next is under consideration. One of the members of one of the contestants on that show, one of the trainees, has my eye.
Yeah, it's adorable.
She's an adorable Japanese contestant.
Yeah, and I believe most of the girls are of age, which is good.
What's her name? It starts with an H. Hereen? I don't know.
Oh, anyway. I can't remember. Something like that. Anyway. Oh, and then I forgot the other point. Anyway, I'll think of them, but there were some other little things we needed to nip in the bud.
What?
I can't remember now, though, so I didn't write them down. I'll think of it as we go along.
Well, thanks for being... Really...
Yeah, there's your news for you.
Heck. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into episode 3. So for episode 3, we learned the winners of the Team 7v7 team battle, Charismatic and Snap. So Charismatic pick team won.
I don't know about this.
No surprise whatsoever. No surprise whatsoever.
Yes, I agree. We agreed with, I think most people agree, but what? I do have to say, as you watch the songs more, because this song is so fun, the dance is so fun. It's so flowy, and there is a way that female choreography teams do above male choreography teams. There's a difference there. They understand maybe the female.
It's just a style difference.
It's just a style, but there's such a wonderful flow that never stops. But rewatching them all again, like we have been doing, both drop teams grew on me a lot more. I mean, I already liked them, of course. I liked any one of these teams. Literally could be the winning team, and I'd be happy. And
just to insert, the winning team was chosen by former members of Queendom Kingdom So there was a couple members of B2B.
Including the people who choreographed the dance.
The choreographers.
Which is good.
The camera directors for the performance videos, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, right.
They have a lot of interesting stuff to say about how...
Who worked.
And they were both really good camera directors, by the way.
Yeah, the camera
videos
incredible.
Were great.
Yeah. Journalists, a couple of
journalists.
Yeah.
And then the Snap teams voted for the Charismatic team winner, and the Charismatic voted for Snap. So that's who chose the winner.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that there is a difference in style. I've watched a few other little podcast people or like YouTube channels, K-pop, talking about like their favorite was the drop team because it's a little more cute, whereas the Charismatic team does try look at just their stances. They're trying to look a little bit more tough or more serious. And it's supposed to be cute, so you can have different takes on it. I could see that. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, but Nana and like Jiwon, certain members were just such a standout when you saw them that they kind of sold the whole thing. You're like, this performance was amazing. But as a team, the drop team seemed a little bit more cohesive, I guess would be the word. So I do agree that Charismatic pick team should have won. They were just overall more skilled, but there is I can see the real appeal in the drop team of this one. But it's you really kind of have to watch it a bit more. It's just that when Nana's on the screen doing the dance, and
she just kind of owns.
It owns it.
I just feel like she always owns. We need to go back because we're new to, I'm aware of Woo-Ah. I'm sure I've heard their songs, but I don't know that I've ever watched a music video and paid attention or anything, and see how Nana stands out in her actual team. Because in here, every time she's on screen, she's like stands out to me.
I think it's interesting because
it's like that with her team.
Yeah, a lot of these, and I'm not using the term nougat, but like smaller groups, they haven't yet had a big hit, and so a lot of their music can be hit or miss. But you really have to kind of get into them. Like Rocket Punch, I really didn't care for at all. But then Yellow Punch is one of my favorite albums. It's just so fun. The rest of their stuff is a little more like Japanese K-pop friendly, like a little bit more anime kind of sounding. But seeing them on this, I think they'll get new fans and stuff. So,
definitely, I think Rocket Punch is going to get a lot of new fans.
So what I'm saying is, like, if you go and check out, you might find one or two songs, but they just haven't had that breakout hit that those smaller groups need to bring them to the next level. But then you have members of Weekly in here who was an amazing group, and so it's a hit or miss type of thing. It's just, you don't really know what you're going to get. You just kind of have to investigate the group a little bit. You have to do a little work. So having said this, Charismatic winning, VIP Nana. Yeah,
she got the most picks for the standout, which obviously. So she got to pick the teams for the next round. We won't go into detail on that, but she was one of the people who picked the teams.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you like. I liked both teams for different reasons, but I think overall, pick team obviously just had a bit more.
It's a slight difference. No one did bad. Like, everybody's good, but yeah. So, Charismatic was one of the songs of the year. Seriously.
It's a fun song.
It's going to be on my Spotify Wrapped. I'm not kidding. And Snap Team, in the surprise of the century, Underdogs, Drop Team 1.
Yeah, I thought that what they were doing was they were poorly editing the pick cat, because Bora, they were giving her an evil edit where she was messing up, and they made it look like she was being difficult in the studio or something by suggesting things. No. Mnet is so strange, the way they will love and hate people.
They need to tell a story, and people coming in the top falling down and the underdogs winning is a very compelling story. And because all this was filmed before the show even started, they already knew how this was going to turn out. So they crafted everything leading up to this point to tell that narrative of Bora's on the top, she's the best, she picks the best team members, and then falls from grace and the other drop team. It was just a story they're telling.
Yeah, but
don't get into it.
What's weird to me is when you see people literally fall for the narrative. And
God!
It's like,
you guys.
I wanted to say this too in this episode, or in this podcast recap. If you have a favorite idol or whatever, as in one of these shows, an Mnet show, you have to realize your idol could be next. So you have to just have a good time with the show and kind of ignore the edit stuff, because Kay...
Just don't take it too seriously.
Right. Kay, who is now everybody... Kay and Huiso, but Kay, especially, people compare to Bora and say, oh, she's, got more skill in her pink, that kind of dramatic stuff. And it's like, you realize Kay in Queendom was kind of poorly edited as being a brat and like annoying and stuff like that. And she's not. And so you just ignore that stuff, but it just doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense in the way that I know they're just trying to get people to click on the next episode or stay past a break.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I have no problems with that. But I don't think they realize that for younger people, especially, who might not be so good at telling reality from a reality show, it can harm people's view of an idol. Maybe they don't buy their album. It can, it's just a little bit like, let's not do that. I think Mnet has a little bit too much power in that aspect. They're doing all these shows.
It's a little surreal to watch people hating on Bora, which is just like, she was the angel of Girls Planet, and like,
but that's because
there's no reason to hate on her. I said like try to like put down her skills. I'm not here to like.
I said that, I said this during Girls Planet. The producers later talked about it. The main producer, how much he loved Bora, and they were all pulling for her. They want Bora, somebody there to hit the high notes and get those kind of. There's real talent in K-pop, but they do not want her in their group.
It's not that they don't want her in their group.
I think they would rather have somebody who was felt a bit more like a newer, edgier idol.
I don't think that's it at all. I don't think they care. I think they just want to make good TV.
And I'm not saying they're making
by telling a story.
I agree, but I'm not.
Think they care.
I know, but there is a certain standard in K-pop that Bora just breaks so many different levels of her vocals, her appearance, her everything about her. her personality. There's just a lot of different stuff going on there. Having said that, the more I watched Drop Team, the more I realized. I didn't even think about this when I was watching them, because I was pulling for Bora and her team so much because they were so obviously cool, like rappers and stuff, and of course, what's her name? Rena looks amazing in this role. She looks really cool.
I think that Pick Team looks very cohesive. They're like super cohesive. Whereas Drop Team, each person has a different style. They have like all these different hair colors, and their performance is more brightly lit and everything. Yeah. So you watch the individual members and they stand out more. So I think that is more appealing in a situation like this.
Well, what I was saying, though, is I didn't realize as I was pulling for the Pick Team, just kind of naturally because my fave's in there, that Drop Team had so many members. My favorite people I'm pulling for, Doa, Ellie, Jury, Kay, even, because I guarantee it, Kay's eventually going to get some poor edit or something. I don't know what they're going to do. He says going to be making out to seem like a crybaby. You know, they're going to start evil editing all these people. So, but minus Huiso and Kay, Doa, Miru. I mean, Miru's quietly done really, really well. She might be in the next winning group as well, it looks like, maybe. And they've given her no screen time and all. So I am completely cool with Drop Team winning that. And of course, Huiso gets the VIP. But
it's deserved. She did kind of slay.
It is, but I think Doa and maybe Kay just did their great job and is not quite getting the credit. This is what I'm saying. I think that a younger idol like Huiso, who's kind of feeling like the it girl a little bit, is going to get a lot of this attention and stuff like that. And meanwhile, in the background, some of the quote unquote older members and stuff, they're not quite getting that same treatment. I don't know. It's a little bit. It's a little bit sus to me, like AG. I don't know. I don't really care for it. But having said that, Huiso did fine. I would have voted probably for Doa just because I think she's such a good leader.
Huiso was a good singer and like main vocal.
Yeah, it was fine, but Kay did more vocals than her.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying is Kay is pulling all this experience everybody's talking about and stuff, and yet they're giving her credit, but not quite giving her credit for her performances. They're just saying, oh, she's a senior and she's experienced, but they're not quite saying. Now, in this episode they did, I guess they made it seem like she was really easy in the recording studio.
She'd never done this style before, which is interesting.
Oh.
To have her come in and do
a good voice can handle it.
Yeah.
Point being, I was not happy that Pick lost, but I was happy that a Drop Team won, and a Drop Team with some of my absolute favorites who I know probably have no chance of winning. I don't really care because it's not like I'm going to be an actual group or anything. It's just kind of for fun. But still, I want to see Ellie, Miru, people like that up in there. Jury, so really, really cool.
It was good. And then we went into the next round called the Remix Battle. There were only 2 performances, so we'll just focus on these and we'll talk about the teams that were made of the other people whenever they perform. I don't want to go through all the team building. But Huiso and Nana made all these teams. So Nana chose for herself
this is a surprising
Nude
pick
by
her.
G-Idol.
Yeah.
And then she built the team of Doa, Suyeon, and Jihan, which when I first watched it, again, I hadn't slept. I stayed up all night.
Yeah, literally all night.
Not because of this, but
yeah, just
because
she hadn't slept. She was like
my
on
sleep
her phone
schedule's in shambles, y'all.
Which is always a trip to do when you're
so I was like
watching this stuff.
I was like half asleep, delirious, and was like, I don't see her vision for this team. But I went back and watched it again today, and I was like, okay, I do see her vision for this team. I am on board with the vision for the team, with the exception of Jihan. But I think that was more of a pick of like, I think they know each other, and she wanted to work with her again.
And maybe and also maybe she thought it'd be a cute little. Oh wow, she's doing a sexy
Surprising.
song. Yeah, like.
Yeah.
And Jihan's a legal adult, right?
I don't know.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, I think she is. I think everybody on this show is, except for Jiwoo, right? She's 17 or something. No, she's 18. We looked it up.
Jiwoo's. Yeah, I don't know.
We're talking
honestly, I don't
legal
know.
age in America and USA is 18.
Know.
But anyway, I didn't see it either. Each individual member, I think, has a good chance of even making it, maybe minus Doa, but she's getting an angel edit lately, and she's an angel, so I just don't like the song at all.
Yeah, it's another situation where I don't really like the song. It's another G-Idol nonsense English song.
Yeah, it's so hard
that's really distracting I know it's not fair to like say that, but like it's how I feel.
And G Idol was such when they came out on Queendom, and at that time when they were first coming out, they were the hot new rookies. That music was
Lion,
so cool,
and,
Lion
oh my
and
God.
stuff.
But some of the best K-pop songs that exist.
Yeah, nowadays it's like this kind of smart alecky 2000s style music or something, or like trying to be edgy. And I said this on the subreddit, I was like, we've done edgy before. That Lion stuff was much more. Yeah, I thought. Seriously felt girl crushy to me, like you know, like you're kind of a badass.
Epic. It felt epic.
And I understand that stuff. It sounds a little dated now too, but this song is not it. G Idol lately, I'm sorry, I just can't get. It's just a bit too. You're going to the mall type music, which is fine if you like that. Having said that too, the strings should have just dropped the strings, get rid of them.
No.
It was so distracting.
I disagree. That was
they weren't bad. It just I kept thinking they were going to get hurt,
but they didn't.
I know, but like
but this is like this show and shows like this are about making like a
true
gimmicky performance is what you need to do. You can't just do a regular performance. So
I agree.
They were like supposed to be like dolls on strings, and then they had the strings themselves, and they did the choreography, and the story was all about how they were afraid they were going to mess it up, and it was really hard to work with the strings. But I think at the end they like pulled it off really well.
Yeah, no, of course. I think they did it fine.
It was totally fine. And
I think they did it fine because they're good.
It was an interesting stage because there was a lot going on with all the strings.
Yeah, to me it was distracting, and I don't like the song. So for me, this felt like kind of a bit of a just kind of a bland moment for me. Each individual performer is doing great, and each one of these ladies is like could be in the group, and I'd be completely happy. But the emotion behind a song like a G Idol song lately is to me has no impact because it's not sad, it's not happy, it's just kind of like this, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like this trying to be edgy kind of feeling they're always doing now, and now they're using the word nude. They don't even put the word nude. Yeah, you know, it's like, so you're trying to be edgy, but you're also K-pop, so you're going to be
can't.
Right, which is fine. Don't get me wrong, it's fine.
Yeah,
but it's a bit. I think she's in the videos, and she like half naked.
I don't know.
And they're like, "Oh, scandalous!"
I think I've only watched it one time and didn't really even finish it.
I don't know. It's just kind of like they all, in one way, they kind of acknowledge that they're for a young audience, but also not, or they're trying to be modest, but also not. It's like you can't show your tattoos on TV. You know, there's just so many things that are when you go for something like this, you really have to go for it and be really edgy, or you're just going to appear to be kind of trying to be edgy, if that makes sense. Not the ladies in this performance, and G Idol's a good group, but lately with music like that, it just feels a bit too try-hard.
It doesn't hit for me,
no,
really. But I will say, in watching this too, it was a similar situation. Like the minute Nana's on screen, she just like is captivating. She's just so good.
She just has she's just a dancer.
She's just really such a good dancer, and it's been a while since I've had like, you know, a girl group member of dancer who really like hit like that for me. It was like, this person stands out as like, wow. Every time they're on screen, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I thought that was good in that regard.
Yeah, she's getting nothing but positive from this show. Now, her Wuha fans can say, "Oh, well, we've always known." It's like, yeah, but there's 12 of you, so I'm not saying no offense. What I'm saying, one of my favorite groups is Cherry Bullet. They're not getting 30 million views every single song. I'm just saying, it's good to have the public discover your favorite idol. Yeah, Jihan, great. Doa again sticks out. There's so much hair she has. It's that bright, like I almost feel like it might hinder her a little bit. But she's not a Nana style dancer. She's a bit more sensuous, and from that school of thought where she's a bit more sexy. So I like that she's in there. I really like that Nana picked her too, because it was a nod to the older generation, and that kind of a thing, and thought she would fit in a brand new song that's from a younger generation. Which is what
if you're gonna do a sexy concept, you kind of got to pick Doa.
Yeah, but like Bora's mistake was that I thought she should have pulled in Huiso or Kay, one or the other, and just screwed all the haters and say, now all the haters would have been on Bora's side and stuff. So Nana was smart in her picking of this team. I would have liked more time with them, more behind the scenes, because you can see their
only change I would have made, like, instead of Jihan, because it's like it is interesting in the contrast of like the baby face with the dimples who's always doing cute. Oh, she's mature, she's sexy now. For me, it just doesn't like. I don't like that. I would have switched Jihan out for like Rina.
Oh yeah, Rena is incredible.
Yeah,
incredible in that. I mean,
but
Jihan's tall. People forget that too. She's taller than a lot of these other ladies. So for the group, she's tall. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think she's just Nako
just
size.
Just because she's cute.
Just because she's cute. But so maybe she's trying to get away from that. It's fine. But you know, there's nothing wrong with being just a pretty cute.
You got your
idol.
thing. You know.
You don't have to do boop boop we do coop all the time. But you know, you don't have to do sexy all the time. But anyway, I'm glad she tried it. It was a good song. Just didn't work for me. The strings were distracting. So here's the thing. They get 222 votes.
Uh-huh. How many people are in the audience?
Out of how many? And this is what
I think it's probably 250.
250 is what I think. Yeah. So what's interesting about that is that they cleverly didn't tell us how many people were in the audience. It might have been an odd number or something too, not a cool number. Like 253 wouldn't sound very neat. 250 sounds cool. So maybe they didn't tell us. But also what they're doing is they're making us go, oh, wow, 222 votes. And everybody gets excited. And then everybody goes, yeah, but out of how many? So you don't know. So we're still having to watch the next freaking episode.
Yeah.
So then, you know, when the next group gets less, you go, oh, well, this team here is winning by so much. Well, that might be the second to lowest number in the whole thing for all we know. So it's kind of weird. Yeah. But correct me if I'm wrong, but only people who saw the vote tally were the members.
Not the audience, because
not the audience at all.
That would sway them to.
Which I'm cool with that.
Try and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Do something.
I'm cool with how they did it.
But yeah,
I thought it was kind of odd, but it was cool.
Yeah,
you know,
it was interesting
because then you see the reaction and stuff. Okay.
And then the other performance we had this week for Remix Battle was Fighting Heihaji from 17BBS. BSS? BBS?
They had a name, the little group.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
With Sujin, Ellie, Yuki, Jui, Juri, and Jiwoo.
It's a lot of J's.
And I love this song. It's really fun. And like every Queendom, everything, there always has to be it's really a musical performance, you know?
Yeah.
With like a staging and stuff. And
Didn't Luna do one?
Yes.
Literally
and I always love those performances. Like those are some of my favorites. And this was like super, super fun.
People, we were talking about this in a few different places, and people seem to be confused by my comparison of K-pop to Broadway. And it's like every K-pop stage is a Broadway stage. Any song,
it
is singing and dancing. Well, they sing live on Broadway, but you know what I'm saying. It's a singing, dancing, acting. As most of these idols are singing about stuff, but they're not allowed to date. They're singing about love, you know. So you're playing a role, literally. This is a Broadway. All of them are Broadway performances. This one just recognizes that, but also has fun with it. So this is my favorite kind of stuff. It's the kind of stuff that you don't want to see all the time. It's a special performance, you know.
Yeah, these are meant to be special.
Right, and I like how 17 will throw these in there, and they're not. They weren't afraid, except for that last album that I heard. They're not afraid to give a nod to these big, bombastic, fun numbers.
That's what they're known for.
Yeah, it's fantastic music.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. It's fun to watch. It's a live performance. It's very exciting. I think this one should have won, of course, or gotten more votes. See how they got 209 votes. Again, out of how many? If it was 230, okay. If it was 250, okay. But even
because 13 people in that audience hate fun.
They just didn't have a good time.
They hate fun.
But again,
they literally hate fun. Do you hate fun?
People in the audience and voters in general are not really voting.
Do you hate fun?
They're voting with if they don't like the idols on the stage, they'll vote it down, even though it was fun. Anyway. It was an office concept. Jui, I thought was cute, was a senior, like the boss, because she's older, you know, and was like their senior. She did great and had a good time. You forget how bright and bubbly she can be. The only sore-ish spot I thought was Yuki was a bit, felt a bit out of, she wasn't as happy.
No.
But she was the rapper part, so. There's
a rapper part in it. What's the rapper's name that you really like?
She's one of my favorite rappers.
Who is the guest on this song.
Right.
Who comes in and does like a really hard rap verse in this song, which I always thought in the original kind of distracts from the vibe of the original song.
It does, a little bit.
So Yuki was kind of doing like the rap part of this song, and she split it up with Jiwoo. But I thought it actually melded with the song better here in this remix
she's in there the whole time
than in the original.
Yeah.
because the original, it's very just like kind of wedged in.
It's one of those, can you write us a rap and send us the MP3 and we'll tack it into our song.
A feature.
Yeah, but Yuki's there the whole time participating.
So I really liked that.
No, I know, but I think just her demeanor, she felt a little bit nervous or not as, I mean, look at her in this screenshot even. I'm not, it's just a screenshot, but she's not as bright and bubbly as the others, which is fine. Don't get me wrong.
She could be, but she's not in a group that does bright and bubble.
No, she's a bit more, exactly. She's a bit more adult. Ellie was fantastic.
She was the main vocal. Like, go Ellie.
I think a lot of people, that style of singing, though, where it's kind of a flat high note, kind of that range, a lot of people don't give a lot of credit for, but that's a hard range to carry off. Jerry's voice, I absolutely love.
She was
Jerry's
like the
voice.
main character of this. Like she just does this so well, and like, she kind of starts it off.
And she was also the main character
cute.
in the
it was so cute
in the production stuff. She was kind of
so good.
Well, they made it look like she came up with all the
ideas, and the other team members were kind of like, I don't know what to do. Well, and she was like, we have to come up with ideas, everyone.
Somebody said this on the subreddit and was like, you guys realize that's an edit. They didn't just sit there staring into space. No. Jury might have come up with everything and might have led the team, even above Dewey, her senior. But, they all contributed, obviously. But still, Jury definitely did, it looked like, took the lead. They had another funny moment with Jury, like they did with Bora, where the crown fell off her head, but then they don't actually show it in the show. They showed Bora's crown falling off her head. And right before the commercials, you're like, oh, crap, I have to stick around. During the next part, they don't actually show it. And so you're just kind of confused. Like, where'd the crown fall go, right? Well, Jury falling off the chair, that she sat on the chair. Remember when it fell?
That was in practice.
Right, but they showed that before the thing. Oh, yeah, so it didn't happen live, but still.
Right.
They made it sound like she was having a chair difficulty that you're going to see. They're trying to make you see some little mishap so that you wait to see the next part. Similar kind of deal. Yeah. When it happened to Bora with the crown, it was when she was saying thank you. That's all it was. They just cut it out.
Yeah.
So you can see when Inmet's trying. It just doesn't always make sense, their edits. It's like, what are you doing? But anyway, super duper fun. And I have to say, and I said this when we were talking about the performances earlier on another place, that there's a common saying that it's much easier to make people cry than it is to make people laugh. And that's been a saying since like vaudeville or whatever. And it's absolutely true because laughter is a voluntary thing. If you're not finding the joke funny.
Comedians can make good dramatic actors, but dramatic actors can't necessarily be comedians.
Comedy is so much harder. I don't want to say harder. It's a different kind of challenge than drama. We all get sad, but we all don't laugh hysterically all the time, And this, I'm not saying that this was attempting to be comedy, but it's a positive, upbeat, fun song. And they're doing a little skit stuff like that, but people aren't giving them credit. Nude used props. These guys use like 4 or 5 props, guns and
tons of props
and tables, and they push stuff. Nude did this, and this does all the same scene changes, if not more. So we're not giving them credit because people see this and think this is a much easier performance because it's happy and it's not as tiring because they're laughing. They're faking it. Because they're still an emotion they're faking because they're acting on stage, just like in Nude they're acting.
And they were really interactive with like the crowd and like talking to the crowd and like it was like a concert, like kind of thing, which was really cool too. Which again surprised me. Is like, do y'all hate fun?
It was cute because Jury, like watching Jury and Ellie and stuff, Jury and I think Dewey, I can't remember who it was, interacting with the crowd, all that part where they're lifting up. You're like, they're just like, woo, doing the really good. But then I watched Yuki and she, again with Purple Kiss, they're not as cutesy and whatever. And so she was just kind of like, wait, like she just seemed a little more uncomfortable doing the cutesy stuff. But Jury, of course, is doing the puffy face cute thing right there that they do, and they blow up their cheeks and. They're supposed to act angry at the end. And it had all these cute little moments, you know.
It was really good.
But on top of that, you forget that it was a performance. They sang it well. I agree they didn't necessarily break do something innovative from the original.
It wasn't unexpected.
No,
it was very expected.
But not everything has to be a complete remix, you know.
It's a remix.
But you know what I'm saying? I know, but not a complete transformation, you know. This was totally an adequate remix of the original song. But I agree. Nude was definitely more of a transformation, but you know, just because of the prop more than anything. So people were like, they got robbed. They only got 209 votes. I thought, who knows out of how many? And to be fair, that's only 13 difference or whatever it is. It's not
13 people hate fun.
It's not a huge difference. So
I need to find those 13 people and we need to have a discussion.
Well, the dumb thing is when you see them there, you you don't know, but we know as the audience, they automatically didn't get on top.
Yeah.
Why not just hide all the votes till the end or something? Like,
they're just trying something different.
I guess.
Okay. So our top 7s, mine hasn't changed. Mine isn't going to change. My top 7 is my top 7. At this point, nothing about it is going to change. Yours has changed. Tell me about the change.
Well, I literally had 4 kind, right? And
you had 4, or 4 top, did I say 9? 7, top 7.
I had 4 top 7s. So I went from, the only constants in mine are Nana, Bora, Ellie, and Jury, right? Okay. Those are my only constants. Okay. So I have 3 I change out. So I started out with Huiso, Kay, and Phi. So if I had Nana, Bora, Ellie, Jury, and Nana, right? My 4. Then I threw in Phi for rap, Huiso, and Kai. So you had 3 main vocals that would be, Kay, what did I say, Kai? 3 really good vocals. I'm always talking about vocal groups and how we should support them. I'm not necessarily voting for all the vocalists because I don't think they all 3 have a chance. So I'm trying for a more varied approach. So I was like, here's my vocal group. This would be incredible. And then I went Bora, Ellie, Jury, Nana again. But then I put Rena, Ewan, and Yeonhee, rapper from CLC. Rena, I think Rena should always be.
Rena's awesome.
Rena's incredible. I just think she has a look, but also I think her voice is better than they're letting on. Yeonhee, I really like Yeonhee from Rocket Punch. I like her. Spirit.
She's adorable.
She's adorable, but I think again,
she's fun.
They're not, and they're going to poorly edit her in the next one too.
They are.
She's not the singer that Bora is, but she has a lot of talent and stuff. And then I went Bora, Ellie, Jury, Nana, and then the 3 added was Huiso, Phi, and Doa. So some of my constants are Phi. I really like Doa. But then when I finally hit this one and I accidentally hit vote instead of, I was wanting to just make another version, but I went ahead and voted it, and then I filled out the thing before I even knew what I was doing. I was just kind of like screwing around. I was like, I just officially voted that. I guess I was getting tired of it. There's not really more than one main vocalist. I mean, Rena and Bora, but I wanted more than that. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, fine, this is a group. I don't know. At this point, I like so many of them. You're being
indecisive. Usually I'm the one who's like indecisive and you stick with your faves. This is completely opposite. I'm just sticking with my faves.
Yeah, but
I like a lot of other people, but these are like my faves.
I do have my fave 4, but
this is like my top 7. Like that's my top 7.
Right.
That's not going to change.
But in terms of pain it will cause, if it was like in Girls Planet, the pain I had to deal with.
Oh, there's no pain.
Where I had to say like, I know, that's what I'm saying.
The stakes are totally
right, where I was like, Bora has to make it or I'm going to hate this group. Not hate this group, but they're not going to be my favorite. But then I said, all right, but my backups are like a car and blah, blah, blah. I really like Eugen. So Bora's my number 1 priority. If she doesn't make it, I'm going to be like, I'm going to burn the world down or whatever. Right? But I'm not. After that, I have my backups, my 3 or 4. But then there is literally, other than maybe 1 or 2 idols that I don't dislike, they're just like the new girl from Jiwoo's friend. She needs to go back in the oven for a while, get her skills up. Other than that, I like every member of this show. And this thing between Huiso, Kay, and Bora they're doing right now, whoever it'll be next time, it'll probably be the rappers next time. Watch this thing where they're making their fans like pick who's better. It's like it's so distasteful and dumb. Like, wouldn't you rather see them all sing together, or don't you want them to be buddies? They probably are in real life. It's just editing. So for me, it's really hard to pick some super favorites. Like Ellie, for example, I was honest to God picking because she's so adorable. It's like Nako level to me. She's so,
and we liked her in Girls Reverse.
Yeah, and she was so, and she barely had any time in that. But then she's starting to sing and she's starting to get better. Jerry I like just because of Reverse and Rocket Punch, and she's funny.
Variety idol.
But then she starts to sing.
She's my variety idol.
Yeah. And now she's got this wonderful voice that people are not giving credit for. You don't have. It's a very specific voice. Doa, I remember her from Queendom, and wasn't she in Queendom with Lovelies? Or wait, with AOA.
Yeah.
She didn't get a bunch of time, and now she's starting to she's just real sweet. She's a good leader. She's a supermodel.
She's very sweet and mature.
Yeah.
And helping the other girls be like, it's okay.
And they're not talking a lot about her talent because of her leadership and stuff. You know, so there's all these things I'm discovering about each these new groups, and this is why I made a post saying I hate this show, because it makes me go, well, now I got to check out like literally 6 other groups. I don't have time to be into 6 other groups. I really don't, or energy. So you know, I don't know. My top 7, other than Bora, honestly, could almost be anybody.
Yeah.
Literally anybody.
Yeah. And they also revealed in this show the top 7 as it stands right now. This is the current actual top 7.
I mean,
as it stands.
I'm down with
Nana. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Nana's number 1. And we said that in the beginning, and I'm cool with that. Like, I love her. Bora, Yoram, Yeon from CLC, Jiwon,
surprised me that
Jihan,
Jiwon was in
and
there.
Kay. This is a stacked group.
We got 2 best dancers.
We have
a really good rapper.
2 main dancers.
Yeah, a really good rapper.
1 incredible rapper. 2 main vocalists. And 2 all-arounders.
Yeah, and a Maknae cutie.
And a Maknae cutie.
Wait, is she younger? She's younger than Yoram. Yeah.
Like,
so I mean, this is a
group.
group.
A solid team with like a solid. This is a solid team. I love it, and I think a lot of it's coming from the strength of that first episode with Jiwon. Like, she just did so good. I wouldn't have expected her to be here.
Yeah, people discovered her.
Nana, I expected. Yoram, I expected, just from the power of WJSN's fandom, and Nana is so popular, and then Yeon, because CLC fans like need something. They've been abandoned.
Yeah, but she's also good.
They need her to do something, and they were popular, you know.
And she has a cool feel in the show.
And then Bora, because everyone knows how good she is. And then Kay, again, similar situation. Like, she's a very well-known main vocalist who doesn't have a group anymore. So, like, having people wanting her to be here. So, yeah, this is a solid top 7.
It's also important, I think, to note that people from all sections of the fandom have something in the group. They have a more popular person in Yoram. She's her and Weekly Jihan are probably the most, I would say, to the younger people, maybe more known. I mean, Kay was popular, they say, but there was a couple generations ago, right? Wasn't it Lovely's?
Well, it was a while back. Okay,
but I'm just saying, and they did well. And I'm just saying that there's people in these groups, or in this group, that aren't so, like, Cherry Bullet's not a huge group, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wua's just
starting.
Yeah, but she's gotten some attention from the hosting and from the dance, of course. CLC disbanded, got some attention from that, from Eugen, from Kepler. But Kay is most interesting because I know the least about some of the least about her, but I want to look more into Lovely's because they were that kind of.
She was on Queendom, the first Queendom.
Right, we saw her there.
Like, so there's like some history there, and
but
like,
I don't think.
And this is like, I think probably pretty heavily weighted towards the Korean audience.
Yeah,
voting.
I don't know how that works
for this.
So it's just kind of interesting. Yeah. There's a lot of like
cool.
everything from tiny groups to like some people who are well known.
Down.
Yeah. That would be 100% with this. I would be I hate to say this, a little weirded out by having 2 members of Cherry Bullet, the same group, in there. I'd rather maybe switch out G1, but she's so good. It kind of conflicts me a bit.
If it happens, we're not getting a Cherry Bullet comeback for a while.
I'm just saying, I would like to see as much variety as possible, but I really like G1, but there's a lot of other, like Huiso in there, or what's her name? I'm sorry, from the same Heike. What's
Rena?
Imagine Rena there. Like, there's a lot of more there's a lot of it girls in this show. Ji-won's one, Rena, Huiso, people, Nana, who are just like the it girls of the show. And I think you could swap out Ji-won with somebody else, and I maybe be a little happier. But again, I would be happy if she's in it. She's all around.
It's cool.
Yeah, good group.
It's gonna be
print
a
it,
good team.
make it go.
Print it. And that's it for this week. We'll be back next Saturday to talk about episode 4, the rest of these remix battle performances.
Yeah.
And then they're going to make teams for the next round, which we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah,
but
so
they did it live on the stage.
Yeah, they basically had all the winners. I think they announced the winner there. People are crying, whatever. And then they say, okay, cool. Now go pick your new teams. And the audience is like, what? And they're like, literally now, round robin style.
That's kind of fun.
They said like in the schoolyard, somebody described. I thought that was cute.
Fun.
But it looked like 2 groups only.
I don't know. You can't tell yet. But it
so if they
really
split
fun.
them in half, it's 26, right? 13 each side or whatever. Then maybe they're doing another battle thing. I don't know what they're doing here, which I like the battles.
It's interesting.
The same song versus the same song. I like that. It's kind of you can see how people interpret.
It feels like the show is going really fast.
Now,
are there going to be fewer episodes than like Girls Planet and stuff? I feel like it might.
I think probably Girls Planet was.
Is it 8 episodes
like
only?
12 years.
Yeah.
It was forever.
Which I'm cool with that. It can be shorter.
All these shows could be shorter and faster. Honestly, there's so much. Just or at least swap out the stuff you're showing more of. Like, don't take 4 episodes to show everybody's song. It's unfair, you know. Like, I don't know, it's a little unfair. Just put them all in one thing. But yeah. Anyway, so they'll do the round robin thing. Kay, they said, was the one holding the card. They gave her a card, and somebody translated it, and said like. I thought they said something like, don't tell anybody else, you've got to pick something or whatever.
Like something's a secret.
So what that means, Kay either won first or won last is what I was saying.
I wouldn't be surprised if the duo wins first.
Yeah,
it's always going to be really, really dramatic.
Yeah, which is I'm cool with. Her and I love, what's her name from Weekly. She's so interesting.
Yeah.
So, and there's another shot where all the people went into the stage, and the first one to walk away is Yeonhee from Rocket Punch.
Right.
And that means she probably either came first or came last, her group.
I don't know.
Which they're trying to play it up like Borg cracked the note and dance the night away. It's going to happen.
I don't think so.
So who knows? It's a good recap trailer. You should go watch it because it gets you going, oh, what's that?
I forgot to give homework at the beginning of the episode like I normally do. So you're getting homework at the end of class. Tell us in the comments, has your top 7 changed at all? Or is it the same from whenever you voted in the very first week? That's your homework. Let us know if your top 7 has changed. And thank you for listening.
Oh, and also another homework, too, if you can put in the comments, if you've listened this far to us ranting. I asked on the subreddit, and we'll use it in the next one, what do you think they're actually going to give them? What's the prize at the end of the thing? They've kind of discussed it here or there. Is it just going to be a reverse group where they put out a song or 2 and that's it? Or are they going to actually have a contract?
I don't know.
Are they going to be able to leave their groups, or they'll do like what's the Bo's in the group with the other 5 ladies from that label?
I forget.
Girl on Top or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be like that where they just put out a video and a song and it's just an it girl thing, you know, or what? So let me know in the comments what you think it's going to get. Me personally, I think they're going to give them a 5-song mini album and some photo cards and sell it, something kind of classic, and that's it. You know, it'd be kind of fun to see.
Okay, that's it for this week. Have a lovely week, everyone. We'll see you on next Saturday.
Bye.